I died, choking on my own blood. The metallic tang flooding my mouth as Victor's hands clamped around my throat like a vice forged in hell. His eyes, those cold, calculating blue eyes I'd once mistaken for passion, stared down at me without a flicker of remorse, whispering, "You were always too trusting." Mads. That's why this is so easy. The last thing I saw was the glint of my diamond engagement ring, twisted wrong on his finger, before the world faded to black. And then, like a glitch in the universe's cruel code, I woke up gasping in my old Brooklyn apartment, the alarm clock screaming 7:15 a.m. on a Tuesday in June 2022, 3 years before that fateful night. My heart hammered against my ribs as I bolted upright, sheets tangled around me like restraints. The room smelled of stale coffee and lavender candles, the same ones I'd lit that morning before heading to the bank. I was 28 again, my skin smooth without the faint lines from stress-eating takeout during Victor's business trips. My phone buzzed on the nightstand, a text from him. "Morning. Beautiful. Can't wait for tonight. Love you. Love you." The words that had once melted me now curdled like sour milk in my gut. Victor Hale, my fiancé, the rising star at Goldman Sachs, the man who'd orchestrate my downfall with surgical precision. But not this time. This time, I knew every lie, every shadow deal, every buried secret that would lead to my murder. I stumbled to the bathroom mirror, splashing cold water on my face, half expecting to see the bruises from that final struggle. Nothing. Just wide green eyes staring back, framed by the messy auburn waves I used to curse for frizzing in New York humidity. Reincarnation? Past life? Some quantum bullshit from those late-night podcasts I'd binged? Didn't matter. The memories were etched in my soul, Victor siphoning my inheritance, $200,000 from my late parents' estate, into offshore accounts, framing me for embezzlement when the feds closed in. The bank teller who refused my desperate $45,000 withdrawal that afternoon, whispering, "Signature doesn't match," because Victor had forged updates to my accounts overnight. I'd run home panicked, confronted him, and he'd snapped, strangling me to silence the loose end before fleeing with everything. That whisper echoed in my skull now, a ghost rattling chains. I gripped the sink, knuckles white. No more victim. This loop, this second chance, was mine to weaponize. I'd play his game, but I'd rewrite the rules. Starting today. By 8:45, I was striding into the Chase branch on Flatbush Avenue, my Lululemon yoga pants and oversized sweater screaming, "Harmless millennial," to anyone watching. The teller, Samantha, her name tag read, same wide-eyed newbie from my memories, glanced up from her screen as I slid over the withdrawal slip for $45,000. "Cashier's check. Please. No questions." She typed in my details, her fingers hesitant on the keys. I held my breath, forcing a smile that didn't reach my eyes. In the old timeline, this was where it crumbled. Victor had slipped in the night before, updating my signature with his own sloppy mimicry during a romantic dinner where he'd spiked my wine with just enough Ambien to make me foggy. But this morning, before his text, I'd called my bank rep from 3 years future. Hell, I'd driven straight from the apartment to a notary on Atlantic Avenue and reinstated my original signature. Legally ironclad. Samantha's brow furrowed. "MS. Reynolds? Just a sec." She leaned closer, voice dropping to that fateful hush. "Signature doesn't match." My pulse spiked, but I leaned in too, voice steady as steel. That's because my fiancé tried to update it without my consent last night. I need you to pull the logs, timestamp from 11:47 p.m. and call security. Now. Her eyes widened like saucers. Ma'am. Do it, I said, soft but laced with the authority of someone who'd already danced with death. Or I'll have my lawyer from Davis Polk on the line before you clock out. She fumbled for the phone. And within minutes, the branch manager hustled over. A balding guy named Hargrove with a tie too tight for his neck. I laid it out cold. Victor's overreach. The forged docs. My suspicions of identity theft. Hargrove's face drained of color as he reviewed the audit trail on his tablet. This is irregular. We'll freeze the account pending investigation. Good, I said, pocketing the temporary hold notice they issued me. And process the withdrawal from my secondary savings, the one he doesn't know about. That pot. $50,000 I'd squirreled away from freelance graphic design gigs. Was my ace. Untouched in the old life because Victor had gaslit me into thinking it was our joint future fund. As I walked out with the check burning a hole in my purse, the summer sun baking the sidewalk, a feral grin tugged at my lips. Step 1. Cut off his cash flow. Victor thought he was the chess master, but I just checkmated his opening gambit. Back home, I booted up my laptop. The one with the scratched Apple logo from dropping it during a fight we'd never have now. Time to dig. In my past life, I'd been too blinded by love, blind to the emails he'd deleted, the burner phones tucked in his gym bag. But death sharpens the senses. I hacked into his cloud backup using the password he'd whispered in my ear during pillow talk. Mads Forever 87. Pathetic. Folders upon folders. Cayman Islands transfers. Shell companies under aliases like Vortex Holdings. The big secret? Not just embezzlement. Victor wasn't skimming from Goldman. He was laundering for the Cardeo family, New York's underbelly mob. The kind that made headlines in the Post for mysterious hits on Wall Street whistleblowers. My parents' car accident in 2019? Not an accident. Victor had arranged it through his connections to get his hooks into their estate early, sweet-talking me into signing over power of attorney 6 months later. Rage boiled low in my belly, hot and viscous. I trusted him with everything, my grief, my bed, my goddamn life insurance policy that he'd cashed out post-murder, claiming I was despondent. The twist? He hadn't killed me alone. My best friend, Lena, brunette bombshell from college, maid of honor designate, had been in on it. She'd fed him intel on my habits, my safe combinations, even distracted the super that night to buy him time. Betrayal doesn't get deeper than that. I slammed the laptop shut, breath ragged. No crying this round. No. I'd build the trap slow, make them squirm. First, fortify my position. I texted Lena, girls' night, miss you. Her reply pinged back instantly. Yes. Wine and whining at yours? 7-ish? Perfect. Let the games begin. That evening, as the city hummed with distant sirens and the scent of street falafel wafted up from the vendors below, I prepped the apartment like a stage. Red wine breathing on the counter, charcuterie board artfully arranged, goat cheese from that artisanal place in Williamsburg, prosciutto she'd pretend to hate for the drama. Lena arrived in a whirl of perfume and laughter, hugging me tight at the door. Mads. Babe. You look killer. What's the crisis? Victor being a dick again? I poured her a glass, clinking mine against it with a conspiratorial wink. Always. But tonight, it's your turn to spill. How's that hotshot editor treating you? As we settled on the couch, legs tucked under throw pillows, I steered the chat easy. Work gripes, bad dates, the usual. But my eyes tracked her, the way she glanced at her phone every 5 minutes. The subtle flex of her fingers, like she was itching to text. Halfway through the bottle, I dropped the bait. Speaking of Victor. Weird thing at the bank today. He tried to change my signature without asking. Like, overnight. Creepy, right? Lena's laugh tinkled like glass, but her eyes sharpened.
What?
That possessive prick. You shut it down.
Oh.
Yeah. I swirled my wine. Casual. Froze everything. He's gonna flip when he finds out tomorrow. She shifted, crossing her legs. Tomorrow?
Babe.
Confront him tonight. Don't let him gaslight you. I nodded, feigning vulnerability, the wide eyes, the lip bite. You're right.
God.
What would I do without you? Inside. I cataloged it, the microsecond hesitation before her smile, the way her foot tapped Morse code under the coffee table. She was already plotting how to warn him. By midnight, she left with a sloppy kiss on my cheek, promising brunch. I waited 10 minutes, then synced her phone via the airdrop she'd accidentally enabled last visit, old habits from my graphic design days hacking client proofs. Texts flooded in. She's onto the SIG change. Freeze ops? Victor's reply. Handle it quiet. Meet at the spot. Love the loyalty.
Babe. Babe.
The word twisted like a knife. So it was full-on affair, too. No wonder she'd helped bury me. Sleep came fitful. Dreams laced with Victor's chokehold morphing into Lena's manicured nails scratching my skin. Dawn broke gray over the East River, and I rose with purpose. Day 2 of rebirth. Isolate the rats. Victor's office at Goldman Sachs loomed like a glass fortress in the financial district, all chrome and ego, reflecting the morning rush of suits dodging tourists on Broad Street. I arrived unannounced at 9:30, heels clicking like countdown ticks on the marble lobby floor. The receptionist, perky blonde named Tiff, who'd later testify against him in my old trial, beamed up at me. Madeline, Victor's in a meeting, but I can buzz him. No need, I said, flashing the laminated visitor pass I'd sweet-talked from the doorman. I'll surprise him. Elevators whisked me to the 42nd floor, where traders barked into headsets and screens flickered with stock tickers like digital slot machines. Victor's corner office door was ajar, voices murmuring within. I pushed in without knocking. He sat at his desk, tie loosened, laughing at something on his phone. Lena. The screen lit her selfie, pouty lips. That damn red dress from our engagement party. Across from him, a burly guy in a too-tight suit, Marco Cardello, underboss nephew, the family friend Victor introduced as a client. In my memories, Marco was the cleanup crew, the one who disposed of my body in a Jersey landfill. Victor startled, shoving the phone face down.
Mads.
Baby. What are you doing here? He rose, all charm, pulling me into a hug that reeked of his Tom Ford cologne, the scent that used to make my knees weak. Now just bile. I let him hold me a beat too long, then pulled back, eyes misty for effect. Needed to see you. After the bank thing. I freaked. His smile faltered. Just a hairline crack. Bank? What bank thing? Marco shifted in his seat, meaty hands folding over his belly, watching like a pit bull on a chain. I ignored him, sinking into the leather chair opposite Victor's desk. You changed my signature last night. Without me.
Why?
Victor's laugh was polished. Deflecting. Signature? Must be a glitch. I'll call them. Fix it. You know how these systems are, bots screwing up. Marco grunted. A low rumble. Family business. Hail? Or personal drama? Victor shot him a look sharp, silencing. Personal.
Marco. Mads.
Seriously. Over a paperwork mix-up. I leaned forward, voice dropping to that intimate whisper we used in bed. It's not just that. I found the emails. Vortex Holdings. The transfers from my parents' estate. Line number 1. But his micro-twitch, the jaw clench, told me it landed. He blinked. Recovery swift. What emails?
Babe.
You're stressed. Freelance drying up? Let's grab lunch. Talk it out. Marco stood, clapping Victor on the shoulder a tad too hard. Sounds domestic. I'll circle back later.
Hail.
Carteo, don't wait. He lumbered out, brushing past me with a nod that lingered. Eyes appraising. In the old life. He'd cornered me once at a gala. Breath hot with whiskey. Your man's gold. Sweetheart. Keep him shiny, or we both lose. Door clicked shut. Victor rounded the desk, kneeling before me. Hands on my knees, the pose of contrition. Mads. Listen. It's nothing. Client work. NDAs. You trust me, right?
Did I?
Once.
Yes.
Blindly. He'd proposed on the High Line at sunset, ring box trembling in his palm, promising forever. 6 months later, my parents' accident, brake lines cut on their Tesla, plunging off the Taconic Parkway. Victor at my side through the funerals, holding me as I sobbed, then gently nudging me toward consolidating assets for our future. I'd signed everything, grateful for his steadiness. Grateful until the noose tightened.
Now.
Staring into those eyes, I saw the void. I want in, I said, surprising us both. Full transparency. Or I'm walking. With everything. His grip tightened fractionally. Everything. The accounts. The estate. All of it. I held his gaze, channeling the ghost of my fury. Controversial decision number 1. Play the jealous lover, not the victim. Force his hand. Make him slip. He exhaled, standing, raking fingers through his perfect hair.
Fine.
Tonight. My place. We'll go over it all.
A beat.
Love you. Love you too. The words tasted like ash as I kissed his cheek, lingering to inhale that cologne one last time, for memory's sake. Outside. The humidity clung like guilt. Taxis honking as I hailed one to Midtown. Time to arm up. My first stop, a private investigator named Ruiz. The grizzled ex-cop I'd hired too late in the old timeline. Found his card in my wallet still, from a paranoid whim after the accident. Madeline Reynolds, he rasped over the phone from his Hell's Kitchen walk-up. Heard you been through hell. What's the play? Victor Hale, I said, sliding into the booth at his dingy office, the air thick with cigar smoke and regret. Dig everything.
Cartello ties.
Offshore. The works. Discreet. Ruiz's eyes narrowed under bushy brows. Scribbling notes. Goldman golden boy.
Risky.
Mob don't play. They will when I say checkers. I slid an envelope across, $5,000 from that secondary account. Results by Friday. He pocketed it,
Nodding.
You're different.
Kid.
Hungrier. Death does that. Afternoon blurred into strategy. I hit a self-defense class in Soho, Krav Maga, the kind that teaches you to break thumbs and gouge eyes. Sweat poured as the instructor barked. Elbows high. Fight dirty. By session's end, my knuckles throbbed. But so did purpose. No more fragile flower. Evening brought Victor's penthouse on the Upper East Side. Views of Central Park like a taunt. All manicured green hiding urban rot. He greeted me with takeout from Nobu. Salmon sashimi glistening under candlelight. Lena was out of town, he claimed, but I smelled her Chanel no. 5 on the throw blanket. We ate in silence at first, the city lights twinkling beyond floor-to-ceiling windows. Then, laptop open. He walked me through spreadsheets sanitized. Of course. Vortex is legit consulting. Fees for advice. I nodded. Fork spearing edamame. Show me the client list. His cursor hovered. Confidential. Us against the world.
Vic.
Or nothing. Fingers drumming. He relented, partially. Names redacted. But dates matched my memories. Transfers syncing with Cartio shipments. Laundered through art auctions at Sotheby's. I feigned awe. You're brilliant. But why hide it from me? Protecting you. His hand covered mine. Thumb stroking.
Lie.
As dessert, some chocolate lava thing. Melted untouched. I dropped the bomb. Marco today? He seemed familiar. Victor's fork clattered. Client. Why? Saw him at the bank once. With you.
Odvibe.
Pure fabrication. But it hooked him. He leaned back. Face a mask. Drop it. Mads. For us.
Us.
The word that chained me before.
Now. It fueled me.
Or what? Or it gets messy. Threat veiled as concern. I smiled. Slow and sharp. Messy works for me. Left at 11. Uber dropping me at a hotel bar in Chelsea. Anonymous. Cash only. There. Nursing a whiskey neat. I met Ruiz's contact. A hacker kid named Jax. Tattoos snaking up his neck, like code. Ruiz says you're fire, he muttered. Sliding a USB drive. Prelims. Hails burner pings to a Cartio safe house in Red Hook. And your girl Lena? She's wired $20K to an offshore ACCT last month. Lover's cut. Lena. My throat tightened, not hurt, but a cold resolve. Tomorrow. I'd reel her in deeper. Midnight text from Victor. Miss you already. Let's elope? Skip the drama. I replied, maybe. Trust first. Then deleted the thread. Heart pounding with the thrill of the hunt. But sleep evaded in the stiff hotel sheets. Flashes. My last breaths. Victor's whisper turning to Lena's giggle echoing from the hall as she watched. Deeper betrayal. She'd been sleeping with him since college. Using me as cover. The secret they'd buried? Not just money. My parents' hit was payback for Dad's old SEC probe into Cartio fronts. Victor married the grudge. Seduced the daughter. Dawn crept in. Gray and unforgiving. Day 3. Escalate. I called in sick to my design firm, bullshit about migraines, and hit the streets. First. A gun range in Queens. Controversial? Hell yes. New York concealed carry was a nightmare post-Bruin. But with forged docs from Jack's ethical gray zone. But revenge ain't Sunday school. I walked out with a compact Glock 43. Permit tucked away. Practice, the range master grunted. I did. Pop, 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 each shot chipping away at the silhouette. Imagining Victor's smug face. Lunch was reconnaissance. Cartello's front. Import-export. Warehouse in Red Hook. Rusting against the harbor's salty wind. I parked a block away. Binoculars from an army surplus shop scanning the docks. Marco barking orders at stevedores. Crates stamped fragile. Electronics.
Bull.
Cocaine or worse. Funneled through Victor's trades. Phone buzzed. Lena. Brunch?
Spill on Vic.
I texted back, desperately. 1 p.m. Sarabeth's. She arrived flustered, latte in hand, sliding into the booth with apologies for flaking last night. So, the bank drama? He apologized, groveling. I stirred my mimosa, eyes locking hers. But Lena, I think there's more. Emails I shouldn't have seen, her pupils dilated, fork pausing midair over pancakes. Like, women. Multiple. Lie too, but it pierced. In truth, just her, but jealousy was a sharper blade. She flushed, indignant. That fucker.
Mads.
You deserve better. Dump his ass. Help me, I whispered,
Leaning in.
Watch him for me?
Tonight.
His late meeting? Hesitation. Then nod. Anything for you. Hook set. As she left, I tailed her, subtle. 3 cabs back to a love nest in Gramercy, where Victor's Porsche idled curbside. They embraced through the window, oblivious. Evening, my apartment. Now fortified, locks changed. Cameras from Amazon rigged to my phone. Victor showed at 8, bearing roses and regret. Truce, he murmured, nuzzling my neck. I melted into it, body remembering the lie of love. Dinner, pasta I cooked, laced with questions. Marco's warehouse? You go there? Networking he evaded, twirling linguine. With mobsters? Wine glass paused. Rumors.
Mads.
Stop. I set down my fork. Voice steel. Or I go to the feds. With proof. His face darkened. The mask slipping. You wouldn't. Try me. Power surged, controversial. Yes. But this was checkers turning chess. He shoved back. Chair scraping. You're paranoid. Like your old man. Dad. The barb landed. But I rose 2 inches from him. He was right about scum like you. Silence stretched. Electric. Then he laughed, cold, unhinged. Game on. Then he stormed out, door slamming like a gunshot. I exhaled, trembling. Ruiz called. Deep dive. Hale's planning a big wire Friday. 2 mil. Cartello's cut.
Perfect.
The climax brewed. Friday dawned muggy. The kind of New York heat that turned subways into saunas and tempers to tinder. I woke to Victor's voicemail, 3 a.m. Slurred. You're ruining us. Mads. Call off the dogs. No dogs called yet, but the pack was assembling. Jax's USB had bloomed into a dossier. Wire transfer logs. Lena's Venmo trails to Victor's alias. Even a grainy photo of them at a Cart.io yacht party in the Hamptons, her in a bikini. His arm possessive around her waist. The betrayal photo burned my retinas, but I filed it under fuel. 9 a.m., coffee at a diner on Court Street. Ruiz across the booth. Files yellowed like old sins. Hale's wire hits at noon. From your estate pot, the one he rerouted post-accident. Cartello's getting $800K clean. My parents' money, twisted into blood money. Intercepted? Ruiz shrugged, lighting a smoke despite the no-smoking sign. Feds could, but you'd need ironclad. Or go rogue, hack the Swift code.
Rogue. The word sang.
Controversial decision, too. Cross the line. No badges. Just me. Teach me. By 10:30. In Jax's Astoria basement, servers humming like angry bees. Red Bull cans littering the floor, I hunched over his rig. Fingers flying under his guidance. Fish the bank's relay, he muttered. Hoodie shadowing his face. Spoof the auth. Divert to a mule account I got offshore, untraceable. Ethics?
Fucked.
But Victor had stolen lives. I'd steal back justice. At 11:58. Heart in throat. I hit enter. Confirmation pinged. Transfer rerouted. 2 mil frozen in limbo. Flagged for anomaly. Noon. Victor's tech storm. What the fuck? Bank's holding my payout. You? I replied. Karma's a bitch. Then blocked him. Panic set in fast. Lena called at 1:15. Voice shrill. Mads. Victor's losing it. Says you hacked him? What the hell? Meet me, I said.
Come.
Washington Square Park. Bench by the arch. Come alone. She arrived, twitchy. Sunglasses hiding puffy eyes. Clutching a iced latte like a shield. Tourists milled around, street performers juggling. Kids chasing pigeons, ironic normalcy to our storm. I sat casual. Sundress fluttering in the breeze. Sit. She perched.
Knees bouncing.
Talk. Now. You're screwing him.
Blunt.
No preamble. Her flinch confirmed. Mads. It's not. Since sophomore year. Using me as your beard. And the accident? You drove the intel to Marco. Break lines. Vic's orders. Color drained from her face. Latte spilling on her lap. How? Dead women tell no tales. But reborn ones? We spill everything. The reincarnation bomb, did I mean it? Her eyes widened. Thinking hysteria. But I pressed. You helped kill me? Lena. For what?
His dick.
The cash. She bolted up. Voice a hiss. You're crazy. He loves you. Loved my money. I grabbed her wrist. Nails digging not hard, but enough. Confess. On record. My phone recorded. Hidden in my bag. Tears welled. Mascara streaking. It was a mistake. He said you'd never know. The accident. Business. Your dad poked the bear.
Cartello.
Naming it sealed her. And my murder? She crumpled, whispering. Self-defense. You attacked him after the bank. We panicked.
Lie.
But it cracked her. Run, I said, releasing. Or, I send this to the Post. Wall Street fiancé and BFF plot murder for mob millions. She fled, heels clacking toward the arch, vanishing into the crowd. I exhaled.
Shaky.
One down. Afternoon. The trap tightened. Anonymous tip to the SEC. Victor's IP traced via Jax. Logs attached. Embezzlement. laundering. Feds would bite. They'd probed cartel fringes before. 5 p.m., Victor's ambush. He cornered me outside my design studio on Lafayette, grabbing my arm as I exited with sketches underarm. "You bitch," he snarled, breath whiskey hot despite the hour. Bruise purple under his eyes. "Ty, ask you." "The Wire? My career. Yours?" I yanked free, voice low amid the street bustle. "My life." Confusion flickered. "What are you?" "I remember."
Vic.
The chokehold. "Your hands." Too trusting. I mimicked his whisper, watching realization dawn, slow, then shattering. His face twisted, fear, then fury. "Impossible." "You're bluffing." "Test me." I stepped closer, the crowd a buffer. "Call Marco. Tell him the hit's off." Or I walk into that precinct, nod to the NYPD station 2 blocks over, with everything. He laughed. "Manic. You think you can take us? Cartel eats girls like you. Already died once." The words hung. Controversial truth in a world of lies. His eyes searched mine, seeing the abyss. "Packed fragile." He backed off. "Tonight. My place. We end this." "End it," echoed promise. Dusk fell bloody over the skyline as I prepped, Glock tucked in my waistband.
Cold against skin.
Ruiz tailed discreet, his unmarked sedan a shadow. Hotel first. Suit up in black jeans. Hoodie. The anonymous armor of revenge. Victor's penthouse glowed like a beacon at 9. Door ajar. Invitation or trap. I slipped in. Gun drawn low. Living room empty. Jazz crooning from speakers. Miles Davis. Our old soundtrack. Vic. Kitchen light flickered. He stood at the island, scotch in hand, Marco beside him, holster bulging under jacket. Lena huddled in the corner, sniffling, wrists zip-tied to a chair. Betrayal redux. "Welcome to the finale," Victor drawled, glass clinking. "Sit." I didn't. Gun rose steady. "Untie her. This is between us." Marco chuckled, drawing his piece, a Beretta, matte black. "Family first, sweetheart." Climax crested, tension coiling like a spring. Victor stepped forward, placating. "Mads. Listen. We can fix."
No.
My voice cracked the air. "You stole everything. My family."
Me.
His eyes softened, crocodile tears. "I loved you. Once. Liar." Finger on trigger.
World narrowed to his chest.
Marco lunged, shot cracked, deafening. He crumpled, clutching thigh, blood pooling but not fatal, warning shot. My aim true from the range. Lena screamed, thrashing. Victor dove for cover, scrambling for his own gun in the drawer. I fired again, grazed his shoulder, spinning him. "Stay down." Sirens wailed distant. Ruiz's call? Chaos erupted. Victor tackled me. Hands at my throat again. Deja vu nightmare. I need up. Glock skittering. Fought dirty, I gouge. Thumb break, as Krav Maga sang in veins. Lena freed herself somehow, lunging with a knife from the block. Wild swing. I dodged, elbow cracking her jaw. She slumped.
Out.
Victor pinned me. Rage feral. Die again. You witch. Chokehold tightened. Vision spotting. But this time, knowledge, twist, leverage,
Roll.
I reversed, straddling. Fists raining, controlled fury. Not blind. Door bursts, what?
No.
Ruiz and uniforms. Badges flashing. NYPD. Down. Victor froze. Then slumped as cuffs clicked. Marco groaned. Zip-tied. Lena stirred. Read rights blurring. I stood. Chest heaving. Gun kicked away. It's over. The aftermath crashed like a hangover after Armageddon. Interrogations in a fluorescent-lit precinct on Center Street. The air stale with coffee and despair. I sat in a boxy room. Paper gown over my ripped clothes. Ruiz outside strong-arming my consultant status. Detective Vasquez, a no-nonsense Latina with a braid like a whip, slid a water across the table. MS. Reynolds, walk us through it. Again. I did, sanitized. No reincarnation rants, just suspicions, hacked evidence, self-defense. The Glock? Purchased legally for protection after threats. Controversial. But Bruin backed me. New York's courts were still untangling the mess. Vasquez's pen scratched. Hale claims you lured him. Co-conspirator. I laughed. Bitter. With the mob? Check the wires. My estate, rerouted post my parents' accident. Her eyes sharpened. Accident. Brakes cut. Car payback for Dad's SEC digs. Proof from Jax's drive. Already emailed anonymously to her inbox. By 3 a.m., Victor cracked, plea deals spilling, laundering scheme. Hit on my folks. My murder framed as suicide. Lena flipped too, sobbing about love and pressure. Marco? Silent. But the thigh wound bought time for feds to raid Red Hook. Crates of fentanyl precursors. Headlines brewing. Dawn released me into Ruiz's care. His Crown Vic idling curbside. You good. Kid. Alive. First real breath in years. Or lifetimes. Weeks blurred. Trials in Foley Square. Me testifying in pencil skirts and pearls. Voice steady as Victor's empire crumbled. Goldman fired him day one. SEC froze assets. Carteo web unraveled. Uncles indicted. Marco singing for leniency. Lena's plea. Manslaughter. 5 years. Victor? Life. No parole. Murder 1. Conspiracy. But revenge's aftertaste soured. Controversy dogged me. Tabloids dubbed it Wall Street Widows' War, painting me vigilante or vixen. Protests outside court. Justice or vendetta? Feminists rallied. Gun nuts cheered. I dodged interviews. Holing up in a new loft in Dumbo. Waterfront views. Ghosts exorcised. Twist came 6 months post-verdict. Autumn leaves carpeting the Brooklyn Bridge like confetti from a funeral. Anonymous envelope at my door. Polaroid of Victor in Attica. Smirking through bars. Note scrawled. Knew you'd win. But blood calls blood. Watch your back, V. Chill spidered. Reincarnation's gift? Or paranoia? I hired more security, but the loop whispered. Was this end? Or sequel? One night. Rain lashing windows. I poured scotch, Victor's brand, reclaimed and scrolled old photos. Us at Coney Island. The cotton candy grins. Him. Pre-betrayal. Had there been good? Or just prelude to poison? Phone buzzed unknown. Coffee? Lena out on good behavior. Need to talk.
R.
Ruiz?
No.
Heart stuttered. Reply where?
Tomorrow.
A cafe in Park Slope. Neutral ground. As thunder rolled, I chambered a round in the Glock. Habit now. reborn. But scars lingered. Trust, shattered mosaic. Yet in the mirror, eyes met mine, fiercer.
Alive.
I'd clawed back my life. Controversial cuts and all. Happy ending?
Nah.
Survival's messier. But damn if it didn't taste like victory. Twist deeper. At the cafe, steam curling from lattes, our slid-in opposite not Ruiz. Rebecca, my half-sister, Dad's secret from a 90s affair, tracked me post-trial. Saw the news. You're like him, fighter. Tears pricked. Family. Unearthed. Why now? Always knew. Wanted you safe first. She pushed a file. More cardio dirt. Dad's old notes. Together? I clasped her hand. Blood. Unbetrayed. Outside. Rain eased to mist. City pulsing anew. Reincarnation's true gift? Not revenge. But rebirth. I died wronged, but Rose Madeline 2.0, unchained. Unbreakable. Victor rotted. Lena faded.
Me?
I walked into sun. Sister at side. Brooklyn's grip my armor. No more whispers. Only roar.